Hello students, and welcome to your last tutorial on the GIS part of your project on the sand dunes. In today's tutorial we're going to look about how we can import data to our shapefiles, make thematic maps, and save them as JPEGs so that you can import them into your blog or your reports, or actually do whatever you want with them, tweet them, etc. So let's first review what we did. First, we started off with a georeferenced map. You use this georeferenced map to georeference a aerial photograph of the area where we were studying. From the aerial photograph, let me zoom out a bit. From the aerial photograph, we looked at a certain area of study, about here for this group. We clipped it so that we only had the area that we were interested in analyzing. Using the area that we analyzed, we also defined a few classifications, so trees, grass, and sand. From this we created some polygons. I didn't complete the shapefile. We created some polygons here. You have 4 polygons for sand. Take away the raster so that you can see it better. We also made some bore samples, some points. Instead of just polygons, we made points. In this lesson, we're going to fill in the polygons so we can make thematic maps. Because right now, if you look at the attribute table over here, oops, I already did this before. Let me unjoin it. Yeah, so it should look something like this. Just a list of FIDs, all of which are polygon, and you gave them an ID. I just gave them numbers. So, but other than that, you won't have anything else. So we want to add all of the data that we collected from our friends in the chemistry department and our friends in the ecology department. So how do we do that? It's actually very simple, thankfully. It takes a lot more work for them to get the data than it is for us to import the data. So let's first export the data. We've done this before. You go to export under the table and you find some place to save it as. I'm going to save this under my GIS folder. Try to save everything in one folder. I'll call this sand polygons. And remember, GIS ArcMap does not like spaces, so always use an underscore. So this is sand polygons. And we want to save it as a text file. Save and OK. I'll ask you to put it in the map. You say no. Now we go to Excel. We open up Excel. We open a blank Excel sheet. Go to data from text. Again, mine was under my Google Maps. Sorry, my Google Drive. And I saved it as sand polygons. It's delimited as semicolons. And here it is, it's imported. But we have a lot of data from our friends we want to add. Maybe they have something like sand particle size. Oops, I'll call it underscore size. Maybe they have total nitrogen, so total nitrogen. Maybe they have ammonia. Or ecology people, they may have percent grass, something like that. And I'm going to put in random data. Obviously you want to have this better for your much more professional shapefiles. I'm going to say like 2.1 millimeters, 2.5. This one that's a little bit larger. 2.9. Nitrogen I'm just gonna do some random numbers. I'll make this lower. Ammonia. And percent grass, maybe 45, 47, 57, 19, 12. Okay. We want to now that we have our data in, and you want to keep the IDs and just add this data. So copy and paste it from your friends. Make sure that they deliver it to you like this. That is the best. And then save as. Again, in the GIS data, I'll call this sand data. So it has the same name. But I'm going to not save it as a text. I'm not going to save it as an Excel workbook. I'm going to save it as a CSV MS-DOS file, which is kind of like a Microsoft Excel extension that's very basic, and you can open it up in other programs like ArcMap. So go ahead and save sand data. So do you want to keep the format? Yes. We can go ahead and close that. It's going to ask me to save again, which is fine. Doesn't matter. Again, yes. Just making sure I'm not deleting all the data. Good computer. Now we need to import the data. And again, like I said, this is pretty simple. So remember, this table right now is really empty. We go to Sandy area, joins and relates, join. You choose the field. The field, let's see if I didn't think so. The field is the item in the attribute table you're going to use to relate the one table to the other table. You can, in this case, either use FID or ID. It doesn't matter. Both will work. Both will work. So I'm going to use FID. Again, so join. I'm going to use the FID. I'm not going to use the that. I'm going to unclick that and go to what I call it, sand data, CSV. Oh, there you go. Sand data CSV. I don't know why I couldn't see that. Click add. Again, it automatically knows, it detects the field that relates to FID. They're both called FID, which makes it even, of course, easier for the computer. But even if you give it a different name, the computer almost always detects the correct field to join the data to the polygon. Click OK. And you're finished. We can open the attribute table now. And you see all your data here that you added. It's really that easy to import it. You might have some issues where the places after the decimal are not showing. So to do that, you select, right-click, go to Properties. Under Numeric, change the number of decimal places. For me, it detected it automatically and set it at 6, which is the maximum for this type of thing. It's called a double. But you can always, even if it's a normal, you can always add decimal points here. Okay. Now we have all our data imported. Great. Let's start making thematic maps, which you'll probably want to do. Okay. So if we go to Sandy Area Properties Symbology, you can do something like quantities, because these are all numbers. You can use quantities. Categories you could use for more textual things. So now it's quantities, and we want to show, for example, sand size. Again, we can classify it into 3. We can classify it into 4. We have 4 polygons, so we might as well classify it into 4. That just makes things easier. Click OK, and you see now you have the polygons are differently colored. Yeah, and you may want to add a few things. If you go here, if you didn't see that, I clicked. Here's the data view, and here's the layout view. If you go to the layout view, you can insert all sorts of things. So you can insert the legend. Yeah, so sandy area. Again, you want to take your time doing this. Yeah, and the legend is made for you. But if you want to make this really small, you can go back, zoom in. If you zoom in here, it automatically changes it here. Conversely, you can shrink it. Say you want to shrink it a little bit. You can move it around. You can do anything you want. Fiddle around as much as you want. Once you're finished, for example, here I have one. I might want to have two, so I can insert another data frame. And this one, so the first map I have here is on the sand particle size. But if you noticed on the left, a new data frame opened. You can do the exact same thing, but maybe change instead of sand size, total nitrogen. And now you have two. On top you have total nitrogen. Again, you want to then insert a legend. Again, take your time, not like me. You can insert a legend, and let's say you're happy with it now. Then you can export this to your blog or your report quite simply. You just go to File, Export Map. You choose the type that you want to save it as. Normally, when you open it, it asks you if you want to save it as an EMF, but you can save it as a JPEG. You can change the number of dots per inch. You can change the pixels. You can do all sorts of things. You call it map 1. Yeah, so that's the end of this tutorial. I hope you learned a little bit. You can do the same thing for the bore sites, the bore samples, add data to the bore samples. You can export the data as tables again if you want. And if you have any questions, go ahead and send me an email. All right, thank you for watching.